I had to put my bumblebee fish in cichlid in a gel tank because he kept tearing up my venustus. And now that I took him out, the tank got peaceful again. And I put him in this 10-gallon tank, which is way too small, and the tank got real dirty. So I figured this is a chance to show my vacuum setup, the way I vacuum a tank. When I'm doing my water changes, I do it this way. But anyways, I got my vacuum hose in the tank, and it's on right now. And then I have it vacuuming down into this bucket. I made a filter out of a soda bottle and a filter bag from PetSmart, or I think it was PetSmart. And I've got my vacuum that I can turn on and off, so I can watch the levels of the water and turn this off when necessary, and I can turn my pump off because I got a pump in the bottom of this bucket. So if I want to turn that pump off, I got a foot switch down here, and that will turn my pump off. But I want to keep it running, and it's going through this hose up into the tank. Then I got my water fill hose here, so you have to put a couple of gallons of water in to make the system work, because you have this bucket that's going to be almost full all the time, and it's got the dirty water in there. And if you look at it, it is dirty. It's got a lot of crap in it. Then this water over here is not clear, but it's pretty clear compared to that one. And I can vacuum as long as I want and get that tank as clean as possible. And in the end, I'll add more water to it. I'll take at least half of the water out and do my water change. But for right now, I just keep the water circulating, and I do go up there and scrape the tank and vacuum. But just wanted to show my vacuum setup, and this works for big tanks too. I do it on my 55-gallon sometimes to get more vacuum time, because I don't want to do a water change that's more than half of the tank. So with this, I can do half tank or less water change and get an extreme vacuum on it, because I'm just recirculating the water until I'm finished, and then getting rid of half of the water from the tank and refilling it up. But this is my system, and it works really well. And the best thing about it, this tank over here is a fry tank. And with my fry tank, if I vacuum them into this tank without a motor on this vacuum, because the motor will grind them up, then the fry will be in this tank, and the ones that get caught in the vacuum. So I can just scoop them out and either feed them to the fish or put them back in the fry tank. But it works real well for doing a fry tank, especially if you want to do an extreme vacuum. But right now, this tank is getting, or bucket is getting full. If I don't switch this vacuum off, that bucket's going to overflow. So you have to pay attention. You can't walk away from it. You can't just let it vacuum itself and come back, because you're going to have a floor full of water. But now I wait till this tank or bucket gets down to an inch or two on the bottom. When I hear that pump start to make noise, then I know it's down there. Then I turn this valve back on, and I'm vacuuming again. And the fish in the 55 gallon, they get a little bit curious and want to see what's going on here. And that's my Venustus right there, that big one. And his side, it's hard to tell from this video, the other side, not that one. And it got pretty messed up. Sometimes he'll follow my finger. But you'll see that he's got kind of a gray spot on his side where he got beat up. He's the bigger fish, but he got beat up. But now on my system, when I've turned one of these off especially, I got to pay attention to my water level. This shouldn't be able to overflow this tank. So if I just wait until it starts making noise, then I just turn the vacuum back on and start to flow again. Now the pump I use is just it's a pump used for some kind of solar water heater system, or some kind of solar water system. And I think I paid less than $20 for it. I got a couple of them, and they work real good for this. Now you can hear a humming because it's down to the bottom, and it's just pushing bubbles up the hose. So once it's doing that, I'll turn my valve back on and start the vacuum and going again. And I should really turn it off, you know, because it's not good for the pump to run them with out a full water flow in it. But in a little bit, it'll get enough water in there to get that pump running again. And if I want to turn it off because I got a foot switch, I can just turn it off. Wait for the bucket to fill up a little bit. Should be plenty. Hit my foot switch and it's flowing again. And I'm getting an outrageous amount of crud in this bucket here. And my bumblebee don't like the vacuuming, but it's got to be vacuumed. He sometimes attacks my vacuum or my brush. He's a big bully when he's in that other tank, but when he's in there by himself, he's not so tough. And the color of the lighting really makes the tank look even dirtier than it is. Because I've got the old style lights and I changed them to LEDs, but I haven't found a white LED light for it yet. That's at the price I want to pay, because I don't want to pay $5 for a bulb. I'm going to pay 50 or 99 cents. But anyways, the system that I made is real simple. I just drilled a hole in this bucket, the size for my PVC pipe setup. And these pipes, it's glued right here, but all this is not glued. So I can pop it apart. I can put a longer pipe on here or here. I can twist and turn it to point it where I want. And my filter, I just drilled, I think there were 1-inch holes in this. And if you can see all the dirt on there, see all that dirt is on the holes that are in here. And I can rinse it off so the water flows better. But inside, I'll have to show a video maybe of how I made this filter, because it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a pipe inside with a whole bunch of little tiny holes that connects to here, and it does pretty good. And it's simple to make. But that's it for now. Now, when I'm done vacuuming, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but I always clamp these hoses on because I don't want them falling off. But with my system, I will put a little butt splice connector on here. Then I will take this hose down to my drain system, plug it in, turn my valve, and now when I turn my pump on, it will go out to my flower bed in the front of the house, because this goes through the wall into the garage and out into the flower bed in the front of the yard. Well, right now it's going down the driveway because I modified it and I run out of elbows. But with my water system here, this water here is from a tank in the attic of the garage, which I can get to the right temperature and put the chemicals in to take the chlorine out and all of that, and then I can fill my tanks with water that's at the right temperature, that doesn't have chlorine in, has the right bacteria in it, and it's just good to go.